Oh my God, it's Sunny Days! Sunny Days has returned!
SHW, this is our wrestling.
This is insane.
You think you could walk all over me, but I don't see that happening. We're warriors.
Are you kidding me right now? David Ali is your new Southern Honor Champion. Unbelievable. Spear to Hampton. But look, he never dropped his spear. Ooh.
You get a moonsault, and you get a moonsault, and you get a moonsault.
This crowd is going ballistic.
And now, the voices of Southern Honor Wrestling, Brandon Benefield and Gerard Bonner.
What is going on, everybody? It's SHW. This is Our Wrestling, the official podcast of Southern Honor Wrestling. It's me, B-Double, along with my man, GB, Gerard Bonner, and our very special guest. Let me just mention this, the 2020 Ring Announcer of the Year in the state of Georgia. Not only that, the first time this award has ever gone to a female. History-making Diana Michel. Diana, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? My award-winning commentary team.
This is like being the president of the United States, or a Grammy Award nominee. Like, they will forever announce you as the award-winning Diana Michel.
I love that.
But it's well-deserved, and we haven't had a chance to see you since the big awards, but we are so proud of you. We are thick as thieves, the three of us, and so it is exciting to see certainly you make history, but I guess we all technically made history.
Definitely.
And so I'm proud. We're so proud of you. I
tell you, when they called you out, I was kicking, I was jumping up and down, screaming. My little boy was like, "What is going on in there?" And I'm just like,
yeah, we were very, very happy. So this is a great moment to have all of us together.
Yes,
for sure.
So good to see you.
We heard you, of course, the night of the announcements on the podcast to announce the awards, but we haven't had we've spoken to you privately, but publicly we haven't had a chance to hear from you. So how are you feeling?
Seeing you.
Yeah, we're finally getting to see you.
Hasn't sunk in really. I mean, I keep thinking, you should just make a big post and everything, because there was so much that I wanted to say, and I really wasn't thinking, you know what, don't take up so much time. There's a lot of awards after you, I don't know. I've never done this before. It's my first time.
Yes.
So, I mean, there was just a lot of things I wanted to say, and I didn't, because I was overwhelmed for once. Crap, I almost started crying. I don't know if you knew that, but I was a little emotional and just humbled, that to be voted like that by our peers. And, last year was a close race for me, from what I understand. Me and Pat tied, Jonathan won. And, I really wanted it this year, and I was going to, I was determined.
Yeah.
But I did have a lot of people I wanted to, at least shout out to. So maybe I'll make a post, and I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm not one to toot my own horn, but, I might need to toot it this time, because.
In the immortal words of Arn Anderson, not one to toot my own horn, but toot. Yes.
I love it.
Well, if you don't do it, we'll do it for you.
We'll gladly do it for you.
We did it for you last week when we were talking about the awards.
Yeah, I caught the end. I had to go back and watch the podcast last week because I was busy doing God knows what, and I had to go. Yeah, I had to go back and listen. So I was like, all my replies were late. So.
Well, it's certainly well deserved. I mean, nobody does it better.
Too.
Thank you so much. So we're excited, and that means the gang's all going to be back together, of course, next week for SHW24. It's going to be a big night where really the whole family gets back together after just really dominating the Georgia Wrestling History Awards.
Right.
But we're going to go back and we're going to have some fun in 21. That's what we do.
There we go.
Today we're going to run through the card. and kind of get you guys ready for next week. And hopefully you're making plans to be with us at the Action Building. Tickets go on sale, of course, at 5 p.m. Eastern next Friday at the door. So you got to be there to get your tickets to get in. We're going to social distance or whatever you want to do, whatever you feel is safe. But it's going to be a great, great night. And we're going to get you ready. We're going to get you ready for it tonight. So B-Dub, what do we got up first, buddy?
Absolutely. So here's the thing. And of course, if you heard last week's show, towards the end, GB and I touched a little bit on the card. We went through the matches just real quick, and I heard about it after the fact. There was one match in particular that we left off. Silly me.
We were saving it for this week.
We were saving it for this week to start the show.
Saving it for me.
Absolutely.
That's
there it
exactly.
is.
We were saving it for Diana Michelle to join us because the match that we're talking about includes the male performer of the year for 2020, the one and only. Yeah, we still can't believe it. Hold My Beer Hansen. And not only that, well, let me just put it this way. It's a team called the All-Star Special, made up of Hold My Beer Hansen and William Huckabee. Of all the people to make up a tag team, go figure. And they're calling themselves the All-Star Special. And if you haven't, it's amazing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's like Waffle House.
Yeah.
It's Waffle House, and every time Huckabee comes out, what do the fans chant?
Waffle House, yeah. That's amazing.
They see the WH on his tights, and they instead of William Huckabee, they yell Waffle House.
Yeah.
So it's because it was an insult, and now it's almost become like a term of endearment almost.
I mean, you take it and run with it,
I guess that's what's going on. But they're going to be taking on SHW newcomers, Exotic Youth, which is Bryce Cannon and Zach Mosley. Now, do either of you guys know a whole lot about these guys? Because I'm a little unfamiliar with them. I've heard the name Exotic Youth, but do we know anything about these guys?
I know Bryce pretty well.
Okay.
I worked with him with Lariato
Okay.
a while back. So I met him there and some AWN stuff. I met him at AWN as well and did some interviews. He was such a douche to me. Oh my God. It was like, I'm going to punch you in the face if you don't chill out. I don't care who your daddy is.
Wait.
Money.
Wait, tell us how you really feel.
I'm telling you, right? I mean, I'm not holding anything back.
Wow.
Oh, I went to interview him and I'm like, okay, starting my interview and he's on the phone on his iPods. And then he's like, I interrupted him.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you? He says, yeah, you did. And then takes my microphone out of my hand.
Wow.
Oh, I was hot. I was hot mad.
Wow.
It was not a good night. So
Okay.
I let him be. I didn't swing on him. Telling you. But you gotta love the guy. You gotta love him. Now Zach, I met once. I met him at a show I went to. But I don't know a whole lot about him, just I know that he's the KLT champ.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to seeing these guys for sure. But before you go, I just want to say, I don't know when it's going to happen, but at some point we're going to see Diana Michelle throw down, and I'm there for it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, I'm Wonder Woman as she takes her drink there.
That's right.
The thing about Exotic Youth, they were nominated in the Tag Team of the Year category this year for the Georgia Wrestling History Awards, and that says a lot. I mean, there are a lot of tag teams, of course, here in the state of Georgia. I've heard a lot about Zach Mosley, one of the popular opponents there for Jordan Kingsley. So when you have an established team like that going up against a team that has never worked together before, an unlikely duo. And I mean, when you say unlikely, perhaps this might top the list of unlikely duos in Huck and Hansen, the all-star special. Like, from a marketing perspective, this is genius, right? Like it is absolutely genius. And if you had told me this time last year, coming out of the dog collar match, which wins for match of the year, that we would have Huckabee cheered by fans teaming with a guy who was going to literally market his way into SHW.
And did.
He did it. And they're working to, like, none of this would have been anything I predicted. I would have called you a charlatan last year. But hey, this is what's happened. And so I think, we have two things happening. You have the experienced team of Exotic Youth against this new team of All-Star Special. Here's the thing. They can market really, really well, but let's be honest. Huckabee did not win one match in 2020. So
No,
for
but
all the
he lit Cyrus up.
He
big
did.
time.
He lit him up in 2021. Hanson didn't win a match in SHW in 2020. He got a count-out victory, of course, at the last show, which is a big deal. So maybe this is the turnaround that Huckabee needs. Maybe he needs to be in a tag team. I don't know, but I'm going to be glad to be there to see this because
You know what goes really well together? And I'm being, a Southern girl.
yeah,
Natty Light and Waffle House. Natty Light and Waffle House. I mean, that down here, that's the junk,
Now, GB, Diana, Michelle, and myself are both from down here. You might not be aware, but that's true. That's what she's saying is true.
Now what? Now it's what in Waffle House? What is it?
Natty Light. Natty Light is natural light beer. But
Oh,
it's Natty Light.
I had no idea what that was. Okay.
Now you know.
Okay.
Now you
I
know. Well, hey, let me just say that the All-Star Special, I don't know if this is their official slogan, but it's definitely one of them, which is that they're tougher than a $2 Waffle House steak.
Ooh, that's tough.
So
that is tough.
That's a pretty good little catchphase. I kind of like that.
And I'm ashamed to admit this now, but when I do go to the Waffle House, I usually order the All-Star Special. So really. So
now every time you get it, you're gonna think of Huck and Hanson.
I promise I will. I promise I will.
You need a pick. That's all.
Yep.
You need a placemat, one of those old placemats made and laminated for your All-Star Special.
Now, I don't know what their finisher is going to be, but I'm going to guess it might be smothered, scattered, and covered.
Oh, I mean, there's so many possibilities.
So many, right?
Don't forget chunked.
Yes,
true.
I like to get my hash browns smothered, covered, and chunked myself.
Yeah.
Aha.
Little chunks of ham.
Yeah.
By the way, one of you guys mentioned the laminated Waffle House menu.
Yes.
And I don't remember who said it on commentary for AEW, but Arn Anderson always comes out with his little play sheet.
Yes.
Because he's the coach, but somebody was, I don't know, it was Taz or Jericho, somebody made the crack that they called it his Waffle House menu. Because it's that laminated sheet with all like their little strategy.
Right.
So he can write with a dry erase marker and then clean it and use it again.
I guess that's the point of it being
like
laminated.
a portable whiteboard, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It works.
Anyways,
works.
Waffle House menu. That's great.
Love it.
So that's going to be an exciting match.
It is.
Again, we're going to go through the card here, but we don't necessarily know the order of these matches. So don't necessarily take the order we're giving them to you as that's what's going to happen at the show. We do have a tag title match and a SHW title match, and I imagine those will be at the end of the show. But other than that, I don't know about the rest. But moving down the list, you mentioned Kingsley when you were talking about Zach Mosley. You mentioned Jordan Kingsley as one of his opponents outside of SHW. So let's talk about Kingsley's match. He'll be taking on Kyle Matthews. What do we think?
I think Kyle's Kyle, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jordan's great. George's great, but Kyle has an award named after him.
He does.
Technician of the Year, yeah.
I mean, wow, and I love to watch the guy. I mean, he's amazing. He and Chip always put on a good match, even together, or opponents or whatever, but that's going to be awesome. That's going to be a great match.
Yeah.
So talk about what sparked this at the last show, GB.
Well, certainly in the last show, it was a triple threat tag team match for the #1 contender spot. It saw this team of technical excellence, as we have dubbed them, Chip Day and Kyle Matthews. They battled Lethal Poison, and they battled the team of Kingsley and Ryan. And, of course, it was a very physical match. Go back and check it out on IWTV. I promise you. Wildly physical match. Of course, Lethal Poison wins the match, but there was a lot of, scuttlebutt between those two teams. And even leading into that match, of course, we saw some attacks go down backstage between Jordan Kingsley, Chip Day, Kyle Matthews, Kevin Ryan. So it makes sense that this match is going to go down. Again, going back to something that Kingsley said here on the podcast, he is still trying to prove that he is a top-notch, top-tier singles competitor. So a win over Kyle Matthews would totally do that. As Diana mentioned, when you have an award named after you, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having a building named after
Amazing.
an airport named after you. So the technical award, of course, he's won it 8 times, so it just makes sense. The question will be, can Eric Kingsley manage to handle the technical wizardry of Kyle Matthews? That's going to be the question. I can't wait to find out.
I like that. The technical wizardry of
Yes, sir.
Kyle Matthews. That's great. Definitely got to use that on commentary.
We
but
shall.
Put it down.
Let's talk about Jordan Kingsley for a second, because we've called him Eric Kingsley ever since he debuted in SHW at the very first show. We've mentioned it before. Not only did he have the very first match in SHW, he had the very first victory in SHW. He was in that championship match the very first night. And he was this close to being one of the inaugural tag team champs last year. So a lot of good things about Jordan Kingsley, but we called him Air Kingsley. Now he's got this moniker of the Nightwalker, Jordan Kingsley, and he's kind of got this dark, this vicious side ever since teaming up with the likes of the Honor Society and Logan Chase. We said the same thing about Kevin Ryan as well. They've got this whole new mentality, and where they're yelling at the crowd and they don't care what the crowd thinks, and they've gone from being big time fan favorites to the complete opposite once Logan Chase came into the picture. So I mean, what do we think about them teaming with Logan Chase? Like, is this working for them, or I don't know, is it still too early to tell?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like even when they did have the opportunity to be the first tag team champions, it was a dirty match.
Yeah.
There was a lot of I mean, they handcuffed Joey to the outside of the cage and beat the crap out of
Matt.
Yeah, they did.
Where did that go? So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think if they were tagging and not influenced by Logan, it may be more of a I don't know. I think they would maybe had a better chance to do it right rather than try to,
They wouldn't be doing the Ric Flair move of dirtiest players in the game kind of deal.
It worked for Rick, but I don't know if it's working for them.
Yeah, I my perspective is a little different. I think the challenge that they have is youthful exuberance. The kids are young and they're really trying to find their way, which I think is partially why they've connected with Logan Chase. They've been so focused, because it's interesting. They've all been so close to that brass ring, but they haven't been able to grab it because they've been focused on other things. I think Logan Chase's job is to try to really narrow their focus so that they can be championship contenders. But here's the deal. No matter how much he tries, they have to follow instructions and they have to get it done in the ring. So I think this is where, SHW24 becomes wildly important for both of them, because if they both can get wins, this really changes things for them and perhaps puts them in the title picture.
Yeah. So tell me this, though. Do you think if they both win or both lose or however it works, do you think they would face each other? Then Jordan swears he's better than Kevin.
He does swear that.
He said it right here on the podcast.
He did. I wouldn't be surprised, because I think at the end of the day, if they're not fighting for the tag titles, there can only be one SHW champion. And I think they'd be willing to fight each other for it if it came down to it. Absolutely.
And I don't think Logan would care as long as it was with the Honor Society.
I agree.
Well, who knows? Maybe we end up with a Hogan Nash situation where they do like a finger poke of doom.
Please don't suggest that. Oh my God.
As long as it stays in the Honor Society, I don't know. Anyway,
I would not announce that. I'd be like, no. Continue the match, please. This does not happen.
Diana Michel would get the microphone and go, wah, wah. Well, speaking of, we mentioned Chip Day. We also mentioned Kevin Ryan there in that discussion. There's a match coming up as well, another singles match, Chip Day versus Kevin Ryan. And this is, again, we mentioned this last week. This is actually a rematch from, I believe, SHW21 a few months ago, which might have been a show stealer at that show, because it was just so awesome. And not too long ago, even before this match was announced, it might have been Kevin Ryan. Somebody had shared it online. It shared that match was on YouTube. And I just went back and watched it again and was just like, man, what a
It was
great
good.
match. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if they can live up to that match, then I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But Kevin Ryan lost that match, so he's going to be wanting to get a little revenge there. But then also for the same reasons we talked about with Kingsley and Kyle Matthews, there's that bad blood going back between these two teams.
That's right. That's
I
right.
need those guys too, though. I need Jordan and Kevin both to focus more on what's going on in the ring and actually what they're doing, rather than poking at the crowd or what I mean. Because I think the focus is a little array, and
Mhm.
that's a big deal, especially if you're going to face Kyle Matthews or Chip Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. And of course, Chip Day has been on an amazing roll in SHW.
Oh yes.
Really nearly undefeated outside of the pinfall that happened back in December with the scramble match that saw David Ali become our new champion.
Yes.
Which was still my favorite call of GB's of all time, right when that happened. Yeah. Just
It was
so great.
Yeah.
I didn't want to even say it. I mean, I saw it. I was behind you guys and I saw him. I thought he was going to come out of his skin.
Yeah,
It
I
was
just,
awesome.
for me, I was just like, of all of the people in this match, like, not David Ali. Like, because for me, I'm just thinking about, do you know what this means? Like,
Yeah,
we're never going to hear the end of this, you know?
exactly what's
And
going on right now.
exactly. And so that was my concern, certainly with that. But here's the thing, Chip Day is on such a roll and now winning the technical wrestler of the year award, named in honor of his tag team partner.
Right.
I think that takes Chip to a new level, and he was already kind of top tier for sure in
Yeah.
SHW. I think that gives also a lot of inspiration to Kevin Ryan, because if Kevin Ryan can knock him off, wow,
yeah.
we have to discuss Kevin Ryan in the championship picture. So I think it's a must win for both of these guys, because I think Chip Day can't afford to continue in SHW without being in the title hunt. And I mean, I think he has every case to be in the title hunt. Regardless of what happened with the SHW championship at SHW24, we need to be talking about Chip Day in the title picture for the SHW championship.
Somewhere, yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's gonna be crazy if Ryan and Kingsley can both pull off victories against the likes of Chip Day and Kyle Matthews. That has taken their stock to another level.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
On the other hand, like, think about this: if Kingsley wins and Ryan loses, or Ryan wins and Kingsley loses, how's that going to sit with Logan Chase? How's that going to sit between the two of them? And we talked about if they would ever compete against each other. I mean, it just would be interesting if that puts a rift in their little
It's
in their
interesting
teams.
because that night that Kevin Ryan lost to Chip Day, that same night is where Jordan Kingsley defeated Hold My Beer Hansen.
Yeah.
So we've certainly seen that, and I will say this. Obviously, I think the level of opposition that Kingsley has now is definitely another challenge for him. And if the same result happens, I think there's going to have to be some questions between the two of them as in terms of who's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. I mean, you can't make a claim like that and not prove it. I mean, you
Absolutely.
have to.
Absolutely.
Eventually, you have to. I don't know what it would do to Honor Society if they were to do that, how deep it would run.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that would be a match I want to see.
Absolutely.
So some people might say that I may have kind of twisted Kingsley's arm a little bit to get him to say what he said. Maybe we stirred the pot.
Far be it from you to stir the pot.
But the bottom line is he did say it on this podcast that he could beat Kevin Ryan. So again,
with confidence.
Yes.
With confidence.
With great confidence. He didn't stutter.
Yeah.
Nothing like, oh yeah, I think I may be. He said, no, I'm better.
Look at us booking for down the road. Like, this is the match we want to see. Like, that's not even a match that's even happening. But
whatever.
I would love to see it at some point. We'll see. But anyways, so there you go. You got Chip Day and Kevin Ryan, and then you got Kyle Matthews and Jordan Kingsley. Two amazing matches. I'm already saying right now because I know they're going to be, and we cannot wait to see that. Let's talk about a guy that was here last month, and we saw him for the first time. And Diana, give us your impression of this gentleman. We talked about it a little bit last week. He liked to speak of himself in the third person. We met him backstage before the show, and he told us about his all the moves he does in the ring, but he calls them the Chris Banks clothesline or the Chris Banks leg drop, and everything was named the Chris Banks something. So Chris Banks made his debut last month. This month, he's going to be taking on Gunnar Miller. First of all, before we talk about that match, what was your impression, Diana, of Chris Banks last month?
Oh, well, it was a surprise to me, him coming out, for
Yeah.
one. He was not on my card
All right.
at all.
Mhm.
I wasn't expected. So when he came out, and I'm just like, what's going on? And he kind of slithered his way in, all right? Just kind of
A little bit.
slithered his way in. And then he took my mic, and he was very nice to me in a very sleazy kind of way. It was just like,
Mm.
ugh, stay over there. I'm going to go to the corner. You can have the mic, but I'm going to clean it after you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Sean comes out, and Chris Banks this and Chris Banks that. Da 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 da. I mean, Sean missed a perfect opportunity to tell him he was going to be bankrupt.
Oh.
Nice.
Well,
rather
maybe Gunnar can use that. That was good.
Gunnar doesn't need to talk.
Yeah,
He
that's
just
true.
doesn't. He doesn't.
This is true.
He's probably not going to say anything anyway. He's just going to whip him. So I'm interested.
Okay.
I want to see what's going on. I mean, he's obviously full of himself. Chris
Mhm.
Banks, whatever.
Well, if you haven't seen the video, it's been posted either last week or the week before, but backstage last month, Gunnar and Chris Banks sort of ran into each other backstage. Banks tried to introduce himself to Gunnar. He even gave Gunnar the 5 seconds to appreciate Chris Banks.
Mhm.
Oh,
And by the time
please.
Chris Banks got done counting, he looked around. Gunnar had walked off. Gunnar was long gone.
Yeah.
So Banks said that Chris Banks felt like Chris Banks had been disrespected. Did I get enough Chris Bankses in there?
I think you
I
did.
think so.
So
Too many.
he felt like Chris Banks had been disrespected, and I don't know if he reached out to the SHW officials and asked for this match. I'm not quite sure how it played out. Bottom line is they made the match official. It's going to be Gunnar Miller versus Chris Banks, and I think Banks may have bit off a little bit more than he can chew.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also said the same thing last month about Hanson and Cyrus the Destroyer.
Well, true.
And I was certain that Hanson, had a screw loose and drank too many of the, what do you call them, natty lights?
You're correct, GB. No, he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had too much of the natty lights, and somehow he managed to get a win. So I can't say that it's impossible. Now, I would say it's highly improbable
Right.
that Chris Banks would get the win. But you know what? We haven't seen everything in the playlist of Chris Banks. And so maybe he can do something that only Joe Black has been able to do in SHW, and that's get a victory over Gunnar Miller. We'll have to see.
Well, and here's something to keep in mind, too. Will Gunnar have his mind fully on this match because of all the craziness over the last couple months with Lethal
yes.
Poison
Yeah.
seemingly trying to recruit him into their group?
Yeah.
And especially after last month, they kicked out, or at least it appeared they kicked out Brady Pierce to the curb. And we're definitely trying to get Gunnar Miller to join them.
That beatdown was definitely a kick out.
Right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that we never got anything in writing, anything official, but I'm pretty sure that was
with
the
friends
case.
like that, I don't need enemies.
I'm
good.
thinking Brady doesn't want to be back. I'm thinking he's like, yeah, that's enough for me. I'm going to chill for a while. Or
Yeah.
maybe he's still healing. I don't know. It was bad.
Or
It
does
was-
he even have enough friends to battle Lethal Poison?
I mean, really.
I don't, he hasn't exactly endeared himself to the locker room. So
Well, the thing is, like I said, will Gunnar even be focused on the match with Chris Banks, or will Lethal Poison try to interject in this match? Will Gunnar have an answer for Lethal Poison? I mean, we never really got any kind of resolution other than Gunnar walked off. Corey was yelling at him on the mic, but he stopped on stage, and it was like, well, is he thinking about it? What's going on here? And I don't know. Maybe we'll get some sort of resolution as far as that goes. But
If he
if
did join up, that faction would be completely dominant.
oh,
absolutely.
and they already pretty much were.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You know that-
together,
I mean, my gosh, no telling what's going to happen if that happens. But well, in GB, I think you mentioned this last week, or you might have mentioned it on commentary, that Gary and Gunner are seemingly like really good friends.
They are.
And Lethal Poison is like the bane of Gary's existence, like
they are.
They're trying to destroy the company from the inside out. So if Gary's one of his best buddies, Gunnar Miller, joined up with some of his biggest enemies, like, I don't know, man, that just everything would be thrown for a loop at that point.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a massive conflict of interest, and I don't know that Gary would know which side he would even be on if he could choose sides. I don't know how that would work. So, I wonder how much of that factors into Gunner's decision. You know, we thought about it from the Gary side, but what about the Gunner side? Could his loyalty to his friend Gary Lamb prevent him from resurrecting loyalty from a group that he used to be partners with? I don't know.
Maybe he's just really thinking about it, and he's going to go with whichever benefits him the most.
Well, and I was just thinking that maybe for him the question is, which is the path of least resistance that leads me to the SHW championship?
Because ultimately that's where he wants to be.
That's really what he cares about. So yeah,
he may also care a little bit about
because so whichever side benefits him the most.
Absolutely.
For the longest time, Gary tried to get him to join SHW. It took a long time to make that happen, but eventually money talks. And so who knows? Maybe Corey Hollis throws a little, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe that would
have reserve somewhere.
I have no idea. But you know what? I was going to save them towards the end. But while we're talking about Lethal Poison, let's talk about the big match they have coming up, which is they are now the #1 contenders for the SHW Tag Team Championships against Matt and Joey Lynch. Now, GB, when we were talking about those singles matches earlier, you mentioned the triple threat tag team match that took place. It was Chip Day and Kyle Matthews versus Kevin Ryan and Jordan Kingsley versus Corey Hollis and Judas of Lethal Poison. And you mentioned how crazy that match was. And I encourage you as well as GB did, like, go back and watch that on IWTV. It was an amazing match. And you and I were exhausted after that match, just trying to keep up with it to try to call the action because it was so fast paced. It was so all over the place. And it was hard for us to keep up, man. But it was an amazing match. But bottom line, Lethal Poison came out on top. Now they are the #1 contenders, and now they take on Matt and Joey. So,
you know, Lethal Poison, I think, is in a much different space than they were earlier in 2020. You know, everything has been different for them ever since Corey Hollis lost the SHW championship. Everything has been different. You know, they were gone for a month because they got suspended, and then they came back and rained on Joe Black's seemingly farewell swan song parade type of thing and looked to injure him severely. Then that same night, they attacked the Lynch brothers. And then they were dominant in that triple threat tag match last month. So they seem to be as singularly focused as we've ever seen them. They want gold. And it's the one bit of gold that has eluded them in SHW, the tag team championship. One may have argued that at one point they were the dominant tag team, really until it came to protecting the interests of Corey Hollis as the SHW champion. That's not an issue anymore. So you take that and couple that with nagging injuries that have battled the Lynch brothers. I hate to say this, but Lethal Poison could be the favorite to win this match and to become the second ever SHW Tag Team Champions.
Could be. I mean, I think the focus for Corey is definitely shifted to the tag championships, you know, because he tapped out so easy at that last, you know, tag match that he had with Judas. And I really thought Judas was going to, like, slam him through the mat for that. He was so mad. And he messed his chance up to be champion then because he was trying to save his own championship. And that was, you know, on the selfish side. But I think now it's different. It's going to, I mean, that's what he's gunning for. That's what he's wanting. And now he's got this focus building up. Lethal Poison with, you know, trying to get Gunner in, getting Brady out, and you know, really he's on a path. He's got somewhere he wants to be, and he's trying to get there.
You know, we were already kind of, fit to be tied when David Ali won the SHW championship. And
Oh man.
could you imagine if Lethal Poison had control of the tag team titles and our savior had the SHW title? We'd be in for a world of hurt in SHW.
Yes, we would.
I don't even want to think about it, but it's a very big possibility. And we got to wonder, you mentioned some of the injuries to Matt and Joey. Are they going to be 100% going into this match? Yes, they had the month off at the last show. So hopefully, will that be enough time for them to be all healed up and ready to go at 100% on February 5th, next Friday. So we shall see.
We
It's
shall.
We shall.
going to be good. But let's talk about a match that we actually don't know who this opponent's going to be, but we know Sean Legacy will be back and he will be in action. Sean Legacy, of course, returned last month. We talked about Banks a little bit earlier, and Sean Legacy took on Chris Banks and was victorious. And that was the first time we'd seen Sean in nearly a year
Yeah,
at
impressive.
SHW. It was amazing to see him back. He'd been spending a lot of his off time during the pandemic, doing a lot of bodybuilding and entering some bodybuilding competitions and looking absolutely amazing, probably the
Yeah.
best we've ever seen him look. And he's always looked, in top shape. So, he came back in full force, put on a great match, won the match last month. He'll be back this month. It'll be good to see him in action. But the thing is, we have no idea who he's facing. So, do you guys have you heard any whisperings, any rumors?
No clue. None.
No idea.
I guess
which is a scary moment, actually.
I mean, so there's no telling. So all we can say is you got to be at the Action Building next Friday,
That's right.
February 5th. What do we say? Tickets on sale 5 p.m.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Doors open 7, bell time at 8. Of course, don't forget, we'll be doing this show live next week from 7 to 7:30, live from the Action Building. It'll serve as well as the pre-show for
That's
SHW24. So anyways, come find out who Sean Legacy will be facing. So let's talk about, this one's not necessarily a match, but Ashton Starr is going to be in the house, and he's bringing the Petty Party with him. And his special guest will be a guy who couldn't quite get the job done last month with winning the title in the steel cage. Owen Knight will be Ashton Starr's guest. Do we have any idea?
A heck of a fight. Oh my God, he did really well in that match, though.
He did. It was an amazing match. And of course, David Ali did every dirty deed he could think of to win the match, but it's a steel cage match. I mean, you can't really fault the savior for doing what he had to do.
Well,
but
there's a thing called integrity that you'd figure a savior would have. And I mean, who would, I think obviously Owen did all that he could. Owen just got a bad hand. I mean, well, really, both of his hands were bad because they were handcuffed. And he got hit with a barbed wire bat. And I mean, and he got pinned while handcuffed.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think he has a lot to say. I think we're going to find out what his future looks like. I'm just not sure that I trust Ashton Starr.
I know I don't trust
Ashton.
Ashton. No.
So yeah, considering what Petty Party rules seem to mean, we had no clue what it meant last month in that match, as that match was changing like shifting shadows. So I'm just concerned at this point that I hope that Owen Knight is walking into a safe environment, because the rules can change at any moment when a Petty Party is involved.
I think he needs to walk in on his toes and square it up, because you don't know what to expect with Ashton. Obviously, he will turn on his friends.
Yes.
Obviously, he would hit a woman. Obviously, he would hit you. Obviously, he'll start picking a fight with me, which.
Yeah.
So with Owen, I mean, he's very well equipped to handle himself, but you just can't walk in there thinking that we're just going to talk and everything be fine and chill. But I'm looking forward to it, because I know that's Ashton's element. Yeah. But Owen's going to be ready.
I said it earlier, but one of these days Diana's going to throw down, and I can't wait. I'm excited.
It's going to be a big pop.
Really? Oh, I feel it. I
I'm
need to
just-
see what I have to do. Do I have to sign a waiver or something? I just need to.
I'm just picturing you rolling in the ring and then clocking somebody with the mic.
Yeah.
Whether it's Ashton or David
I mean, I'm not
Ali.
gonna mess up my shoes,
This is
but
true.
you know.
You could come hand your shoes off at the table. We'll take care of that, and then
Have
we
you
move
seen
everything.
my shoes? Sometimes they are very hard to get off.
Oh, well.
And they're pretty high, so yeah.
All right. So let's see. So let's talk about. Okay, now this is something that we've been talking about off the air and amongst ourselves in our little group chat for the last week now, ever since this was announced. And this is somebody that I've never seen before until recently when he sent us this promo video. And he's absolutely terrifying. And I kind of regretted watching the promo video because now I'm having nightmares about this guy. Sunny Days apparently has called in his friend. I don't know if they're friends or whatever. His freak of a, what did he say in his promo?
Freak of a feather.
Freaks of a feather flock together. So Sin Bodhi is coming to SHW for the first time, making his Southern Honor debut, and he'll be taking on the Chief, Austin Towers. Towers now, who just lost the tables match last month to Sunny Day. And now he's going to be facing off with Sin Bodhi. Do either of you know much about this guy, Sin Bodhi?
Just that he creeps me out. That's all.
Yeah, right.
I mean, completely creeps me out. I mean, I don't know what to think about. He gives me this vibe of like the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
And I can't watch that movie. So I mean, I'm freaking out just by watching his promo with the strobe and all. I'm just dude.
Yeah, my first exposure to, I don't know if you call him Mr. Bodhi or Sin or whatever you call him.
Whatever, yeah, Sin.
Yeah, strangely enough, I found him in a match against another guy who had spent some time in SHW. That'd be Trevor Eon, who thinks he's a demon or a devil. And like when the two were fighting, they were fighting literally on Halloween. And it was like Freddy versus Jason. So, for me, this is a horror show come to life. But this is why you don't play with monsters. Because monsters don't have normal friends. Yeah. They've got monstrous friends. And so this is what happened. You think about it. A couple of months ago, Austin Towers thought it was a great idea to kick Dylan Freimeyer in the face, as if Dylan didn't have a friend or two to call on. Well, you kind of open up the door and you let everybody in. And so it wasn't enough for him to go through a table last month. No, the punishment must continue with this literal freak of nature in Sin Body. I am nervous for Austin Towers.
Yeah, I just hope, honestly, as the announcer, I hope that Austin comes out first, and then Sin Bodhi can come out, and while he's making his way, I can scoot out of the way, because I don't want to be anywhere near that ring, because I don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
It'd be like being in a cage with a freak. You don't know what, like, I'm not looking forward to it.
I hope he doesn't come our way. I mean, we're kind of stuck there next to the ring. So
I may even just announce it from the side.
I might, you know what? I might take a bathroom break during that match just so
Thanks.
So I can leave ringside. So
we'll get a hot dog, B.
Yeah, me and Diana are gonna go to the concession stand during that match.
We're gonna have a guest announcer today. Yeah,
So GB, if you could just hold it down for us while we're gone.
Thanks.
Yeah,
keep your spoon close. You can fight him off with your spoon.
I'm gonna need more than a spoon.
That's right. We've got our. That's what we need to bring, the wooden spoons that Diana got us for our pot, that we could stir the pot.
Absolutely.
I can just picture GB trying to swat at Sin Bodhi.
And then he's laughing at me with those crazy eyes of his. Just
it's gonna be something else. So this card, like we say every month, I mean, it's such a stacked card. And of course, to top it all off is our big championship match. David Ali, the so-called savior. Oh, what do you got, GB?
No, finish the announcement, because I think something just made sense to me.
All right. Well, David Ali, so-called savior, is the champion going in, and he will be defending the title against the monster of SHW, Sunny Days.
Here's what just clicked for me. Perhaps Sunny Days decided the best way to get a one-on-one match with the champion is to eliminate his bodyguard. And you eliminate the bodyguard by bringing in the scariest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Sin Body. I can't imagine after going through if the promo scares me, I can't imagine being in the ring with this guy. And think about it. If Sunny Days put Austin Towers through a table stomach first, I don't know what this Sin Body will do, particularly if, and I may be extrapolating here, but if his sole assignment for coming here is to eliminate Towers so that Sunny has a one-on-one match, this changes everything. Because if Austin Towers isn't out there, Sunny Days, think about this. When Ali was not out there for the tables match and Sunny Days got a one-on-one match, he beat Austin Towers.
Yeah.
Right.
He can beat Austin Towers. It's a reasonable thought we could have a new champion coming out of SHW24.
Very, very possible. And you don't forget Ravina Van.
There's that.
So we saw a video earlier this week that was released, I think, on like Tuesday, where Ali released one Monday, Ravina Vane released one on Tuesday, and she kind of tried to explain a little bit, because prior to last month, the last time we saw her, she was giving the low blow to Sunny Days and was kind of turning her back on him.
Right.
So we saw the video Tuesday. She kind of explained her actions there. So now they seem to be back on the same page. And I'm telling you, man, that last show really surprised us, because she shows up standing in front of the stage. I guess she had come through the crowd or something. And
Yeah.
She is such a sight. When
Yeah.
she just appears,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just like, holy crap, you know?
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Her whole appearance is just, it's eye-catching, and you want to watch everything she does.
Right. Well, and David Ali definitely got distracted by her, which
Definitely.
allowed Sonny to sneak up on him and take him out there to close the show, our January show at SHW23. So she'll be, I assume, at ringside. So don't forget that she'll be there.
Yeah.
And you're right. So if Bodie can take out Austin Towers, that'll eliminate him from the picture. And I think Sunny Days has a pretty good shot at walking out of there.
Even if Bodie doesn't take him out completely physically, I think psychologically he's going to mess him up. I mean, he's messed me up already, and I haven't even get near him.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You know, I mean, what is he going to do? What kind of tools does he have in his bag that he's going to come out? What's his style? GB, you saw him.
It's not catch as catch can. Let's just say that.
Right. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so.
This isn't technical wizardry here. We're not going to get that.
So he's not gonna win the
voodoo doll. There's just some kind of magic powder in a bag or something.
Look, he's a different kind of cat.
So he won't win the Kyle Matthews Technician of the Year award.
No, I don't see that in his future.
No.
And I don't even think
there has to be a whole different category for that cat.
Absolutely. They haven't created one for him yet.
Freak of the Year.
Freak of the Year.
Yeah.
There you go. Well,
Absolutely.
Fans, I'm telling you, SHW24, it's here already. It's just next Friday, and it's going to be amazing. And there's only one thing you should do is to show up at the Action Building next Friday night. Get your tickets at the door starting at 5 o'clock. Doors open at 7, bell time at 8. And don't forget, we will be live from 7 to 7:30 with this show leading up to SHW24. Guys, any final things to say before we go tonight?
Yeah, guys, bring your sons, and like you've been saying, come out behind you guys and show your support and show how wild SHW can be, because it can be crazy. We have the best fan. We have the best fan.
Absolutely. There's a reason why we were named Promotion of the Year.
Right.
That we had the Show of the Year, the Promoter of the Year, the Announcer of the Year, your Commentators of the Year. There was a lot of SHW representation. Match of the Year. It's all what happens in the Action Building. So you don't want to hear it from someone else. You get to witness it yourself. Be there live.
Come
Next,
see why we got all those awards.
it's not by accident, folks.
That's right.
Trust me.
Absolutely. See what all the fuss is about and come see for yourself. And like we say all the time, too, don't forget, if you cannot make it for whatever reason, you can find us on IWTV, independentwrestling.tv. Sign up, use the code SHW to get 5 days free. And go back and just binge watch every single show from the
It
very
can be
first
done.
one.
I did it in 5 days. I binge watched. Oh my God. I was like, woo! I knew
Yeah.
everything. I know everything now.
Awesome.
There you go. There you go. Well, yeah, go back and watch everything and then get all caught up. So then by the time you join us next Friday, you're all refreshed and you're caught up and you know what's going on.
That's
And yeah, we can't wait for you guys to join us. But hey, until next week, guys, this has been SHW.
This is our wrestling.